Hey, I'm KJ, dedicated lifelong hunter here. If you got an interest in all things hunting, you're in the right spot. Whether chasing quail across the plains of Oklahoma or in pursuit of elk in the backcountry of British Columbia, you'll always find me on the hunt.
All right, welcome in all you Gun Talk hunters. I'm your host, KJ, and we are on for another exciting episode of Gun Talk Hunt. All right, this week, I'm going to go ahead and lay it out there. We've got Chris Cerino. I promise this is a kid-friendly show, so if your kids are in the car, feel free to listen. He's not going to do anything we don't approve of, right?
That's right.
Or disapprove of. Hey, in this show, here's what we're going to talk about. Chris has been on a hog hunting terror the last couple months, and he's getting really freaking good at it. He's kind of figured something out down here in the South. But we're going to talk about drawing in more hogs during the summer heat. We're going to go into a full-on bacon blitz. We're going to talk about the best calibers for hog hunting, and should you go bolt action or should you go semi-auto. And then our listener segment, we threw it out there. What's your craziest almost got it hunting story? We're going to hear from Chris on that one. And then, have you ever named a deer or hog before shooting it? And what was your names for them? So I want to hear those names from you guys. Feel free to reach out at kj@guntalk.com to hit me up. And then we're going to have Chris give his final word, and then we're going to be out of the show. But before we get started, this episode is brought to you by Ruger, Armasight, Range Ready, Loophole, and FPD. Welcome in, Chris Cerino.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You look nervous. I never really see you nervous.
You gave me so many things that I need to think about talking about that I'm trying to, I guess I'm cataloging them all as we're sitting here and I'm listening to you open it up.
All right. So I brought you on one because I needed a last second guest and we had some time.
And I'm close.
And you're close. You're right there. You're like literally right across the hall from me. And you've been killing a lot of hogs lately, and I'm a little bit jealous, but I'm a little bit impressed because you've kind of started figuring it out. And in the first segment that I want to hit on is giving the listeners a tip, like giving them something they can take away from the show going, you know what? I think I can do that. So how are you drawing in these summer hogs? I mean, like as far as like what you're feeding or the times you feed at, what have you noticed out in the field that help you bring in hogs? Not during the day. We're talking about nighttime. Let's go dark and let's talk about the nighttime.
Well, you know, I like to hunt hogs, and I do like to hunt them at night. It's my favorite. Using a thermal, there's just something about it that's so unfair and fun yet challenging. But you know, daytime hog hunting is a completely different animal, but in both day or night, you definitely, if you want to shoot pigs and you want them for sure, like you want to be successful, you've got to bait them. You've got to bait them in. And right now, since we live in the South and I don't have, you know, we don't have a lot of natural feed plots out. Like we don't have some of the stuff they have up north, you know, corn, soybeans, you know, down in Florida, cabbages, watermelons, the orange groves, those are great. But if you really want to be successful, baiting them is the way to do it. And then setting your times correctly, you know, giving yourself time to get in. I like to watch sunset. So right around now, you know, you're going into the woods a lot later. But having those set times, because that's a dinner bell for them. They come right to the dinner bell. You know, the Georgia hogs we hunted with raw peanut butter, and that was our bait there. And as long as we were...
Would you go just lather up some sticks with some Jiffy?
Or what, there was a peanut farm close by, and we could get like a trailer full of hefty garbage bags with like 50 pounds each of raw, whatever was left over from them making peanut butter.
Really?
And those pigs would just come to it all the time.
I'm surprised everything didn't come to that.
Oh,
raccoons, possums, everything.
They're all there. So, you know, right now, I mean, number one, it's key to be baiting. Number two, as the water dries up, you might have to move your feeders and get closer to the water because the hogs, during the day, they're all hanging out in the shade. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to come out. I mean, they're going to come a ways to get their food, but they're not going to travel far because it's hot. And after all, they're just slovenly pigs. But if I can move my stuff, like this weekend, I'm going over to the big property and I'll be moving the feeders down near where the water runs through the bottom because that water's drying up.
Yeah.
You know, right now there's water puddles everywhere and they've got their wallows that they hit all the time. And you can tell when pigs are hitting those wallows because you're going to not only see their tracks, but on their way out.
Smell them.
Yeah, you can smell them. I love the smell of hogs in the woods. And you can also see where they'll get out and then they scratch themselves and they rub that mud off on the trees. So it'll be all around the trees. And that kind of stuff is neat to see. That's why I like to get there during the daylight, take a look at the activity. And then as the light goes down, I know I'm going to be successful.
What I do if I'm going out in the summer, especially nighttime, if I'm stalking about during the day, just kind of walking around, it kind of seems like it's happenstance when I pick them up, but it's always in heavy shaded areas.
Yes. Yeah. That's what we would do in Texas. Down at Colby's place out in Sonora, we would ride around on an electric golf cart because, you know, when you got like 2,000 acres in an electric golf cart, you're quiet and you're just kind of cruising through and stopping and watching the shadows because they'll be laying under those mesquite trees. And, you know, that's daytime stuff. I'd imagine, you know, if you skulked around at night in the golf cart with a thermal, you could do the same thing. And I know we have. It's just not, you tend to move too fast in the dark because you're looking more for the heat signatures. In Florida, you know, we would cruise the orange groves and we just scan, and you got to have a thermal that can handle that kind of movement too, because if you don't have a processor that works fast enough, your thermal will seize up. Yeah. You know, back then I was using Trigicon with the, what was that thing called?
Oh, that was their, gosh.
The Reap IR.
Yes, the Reaper.
Yep, the Reap IR, and that was great because it was fast, and as fast as we could go in that four-wheeler, we could still, you know, that thing would keep track with me. Oh, yeah, it was fantastic. So then, you know, we'd see them out in the cabbage fields, and we'd put a stalk on them, maybe, you know, 200, 300 yards, sometimes more. And it's funny because as long as you're just crunching, they don't care because they're crunching.
Yeah. Well, and
you don't talk, they don't know.
You can get close. As long as you've got to have the wind. You have to have the wind.
Yeah, and I mean, one time when we started unleashing on them, I mean, they went 360 degrees. I mean, I got hit in the legs. One of them ran right by me. Skinned right across my pants.
And it's wild. Like, I mean, when you talk about, you know, there's options, and we can talk a little bit about that as far as like going night vision or thermal. Thermal for me is always going to be the king because nothing hides.
I know thermal, you know, it's amazing. Like that last shot I had, I shot that hog about 3 weeks ago, and it was just in some tall ryegrass. And after it stopped flopping around, it completely disappeared in there. I mean, I could not find it. We probably looked for about 30 minutes trying to find it. Should have got up on top of the four-wheeler and just did a scan in the general area. We would have found it right away, but we were walking on the ground and looking. It was dumb. But I do have some advice for people that, you know, if you don't have access to hogs like I do, I mean, I can kill them on my own property in my own locations. I mean, I can go 10 minutes and kill them. But if you're going to go on a hunt, if you're going to, you know, pay to travel and you only have so much time, maybe you're going once a year, I highly recommend that you look at a place that has stands, bunch of stands, and they're baiting. Because if they're baiting them, then you're going to be successful. Because if you just want to go out and hunt and walk the woods, which is what I do because I can do it anytime I want to, you're not necessarily going to be successful. I mean, you're going to love the woods, and it's a great hunt. But if you're looking for pig meat or you're looking for that trophy, the best way to do it is to go to a place that's baiting them, bringing them in, and there's hunters there regularly. Yeah, because those places are hopping.
Well, and they're probably up on where the hogs are at. They probably understand, and that's one of the biggest things. One time I got turned loose, and it was a summer hunt, so most of the guys were hunting out at night, and so you would have loved this. So they had this. It was a high fence hunting area, and I was not interested in whatever they were hunting. So I was like, hey, just drop me off in the pig pen. Like literally it was a pig pen. I think it was 120 acres of like hog wired fence. And every time they got a load of hogs or trapped a bunch of hogs, they just turned them loose in there. And just to be able to sulk and like sneak through those woods, you learn so much about where they like to hang out. And it was the heat of the day. and you would not see a hog on its feet. You had to practically kick them out of bed.
Almost always laying down, yeah.
Always laying down.
Yeah, most of the good places will have pens because they're always trapping. They're always trying to catch them and raise them because, honestly, that's how they make their living, and you can't hold against them. I'm not one of those people that wants to go out and just shoot them all and let them lay, and I've let plenty of hogs lay.
I'm that guy. Like
I want them to be there for my next hunt. I want to go hunt again.
But they're always going to be there for your next hunt, no matter how many you kill, no matter how many how big of a hurting that you put on them. 90% of the country where they are at, they're going to be there because I have killed a pile of pigs, and they just their ranges keep growing. I mean, there's roughly 7+ million probably now hogs, and they're breeding constantly.
Oh, I know, and they're laying like 6 at a time constantly. But where we're at, if you look at the stats where we live here in Tangipahoa, it's some of the lowest of the whole state of Louisiana.
Well, it's because they have so many there's actual predators out there. I think because we're down in gator country. I mean, gators are swiping them up.
Yeah, you would think they're getting some of the small ones, and it's just a lot of fun for me. I like keeping enough around that I can hunt them the next time. But yeah, in Texas, shoot them all. Yes. That's one of the other things. If you go to a location where you're paying, you got to look at all the extra fees because these guys are going to charge you for skinning them. They're going to charge you, even if you don't want the meat.
Yeah.
Then they're going to charge you to butcher them and do all that stuff. Even if you give the meat away, they're still going to charge you a skinning charge. And it's like some of these people are pretty shady out there, and a lot of them are really good. But that's why if you're going to go and you're going to spend the money on a paid hunt, you definitely want to go somewhere that's baiting them, so you at least get that full experience.
Well, so what's your cutoff for your meat hog? Like if you're going out and if you're looking through a thermal. Well, this is a good segue. I'm glad I came up with this question right now. So you're out there in thermal, and sometimes it's hard to tell distances if you do not have a rangefinder.
Right.
Right. It's hard to tell distances, and you want a meat hog. I mean, granted, you could shoot small ones, and they make great meat hogs. I find the best meat hogs are like that 60-pound to like 80-pound range. Like that range for me is
60 to 125. I like
my cutoff's a lot earlier than yours is.
Yeah, I like a little meat on my bone. I'm not gonna lie, but so here's the deal. So my lady friend last year, she shot a hog, and it was the only one in the lane, right?
Right.
And I don't know if you remember seeing that skull at my house. I showed you a picture.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bigger than the one that's sitting here on the table. I mean, it's big.
Yeah.
But I said, hey, there's a little pig out there. Just shoot that one.
And you walk up on it.
And I thought she shot a bear. I was laying on its side, and from shoulder to shoulder on its side was greater than 2 feet.
Yeah.
This thing was so big, there was no way we would ever move it. We just took the head. And you couldn't eat it. I mean, it was a huge boar. I mean, obviously it was Hogzilla. But that's the hard thing. And it was only like 110 yards. It didn't look that big. I don't like to zoom in because, honestly, I feel that thermals fall off, and I don't trust them when I start zooming in.
Right.
I shoot almost everything on the lowest power of the optic, whatever it is, and preferably 1 power.
Okay.
So when they come in, like the last one I shot, when they come in, I try to gauge their sizes. Right. There was a bunch of small ones. They all looked good to me, but then there was one that stood out. And the way you can tell is not only from their size, but then you're looking at those cold spots on it.
Yeah.
Because all the little ones are hot, man. They're like little hot footballs running around, white hot from nose to toes.
Yeah.
But then you start seeing ones that have gray spots and black spots on them. So then you're looking at something big and fat. You're starting to see those shady areas.
There's insulation there.
Yeah, exactly. You got that big shoulder skin on a boar, and it gets really cold around the shoulders, and you're thinking, oh, yeah. And then, if you got a good thermal, you can look at snout length and things like that. And sometimes you can actually see their tails flicking.
Yep. Well, all right. We're going to jump in here with a break, hear from our sponsors. But coming up, let's talk about best calibers and should you go semi-auto or bolt action. Oh, the Ruger American Gen 2 Predator, because sometimes you just want a rifle that looks like it's been dipped in badass and Cerakote. Spiral fluted barrel? Check. Splatter finish that grips like grandma's hug but less scratchy? Double check. Recoil? Reduced. Fit? Customizable like your favorite video game loadout. Adjustable trigger? Smooth as jazz hands. Oh, and the bolt? CNC machine for that butter on a hot pan action. It's got a pick rail, a muzzle brake, and more modular options than a Lego set for grown-ups. Get the Predator, because your prey deserves a fair, terrifying fight. First Person Defender YouTube page is out. You got to go like, comment, and subscribe, and I promise you, you're going to like what you see over there, because you are going to get a view. Each week, we're going to be launching new episodes. Season 14 is coming out soon, so get over there and check it out. You got to like, comment, and subscribe. We want to push this thing out because we want more people becoming more aware of their personal safety. If you like tips, tactics, watching people and seeing how they react, and you being the Monday morning quarterback that you are, I know you're going to love it, because you're going to say, whoa, I wouldn't have done that. I would have done it totally different. Well, would you have? Because I'm going to be honest with you right now. There are a lot of people out there that says, I'm going to just turn it on. I'm going to know when my attack comes. Well, if you know when your attack is coming, I sure as heck wouldn't be there. But watching First Person Defender gives you the opportunity to say, yep, I wouldn't be in that situation, because I'm going to see it way before that. And you're training your mind. All right. So go like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube page over there. The First Person Defender is going to be hot. Say hello to the Leupold VX6HG Gen 2. Man, I don't even think I can say it like that and keep a straight face. The Leupold VX6HG Gen 2, because your optics shouldn't tap out before you do. With a 6:1 zoom ratio, this thing goes from up close, oh crap, to sniping from Narnia faster than you can say, that's going to leave a mark. The professional grade optical system, yeah, it punches glare in the face and laughs at low light like a villain monologuing at midnight. Plus, it's got motion sensors, so it knows when you move like that creepy ex. But it's useful. Guardian coating keeps your lens cleaner than your browser history. And the speed set dial, oh, it's tool free, like me at my family reunion. Get the VX6 HG Gen. Oh, mother. Get the 6. Holy crap. Get the V6. Oh, my gosh. Can we just not name it the 6HG Gen 2? Get the VX6HG. Holy crap. The VX6HD Gen 2, because precision shouldn't be boring. If you leave some of that in. Oh my God. Hey, get your heads up. Heads up, right up here. Tactical treasure hunters, beware. Optics Planet just became your new favorite adult toy store for gear. Let's get that out of the way. Want scopes, red dots, night vision, and stuff totally you probably don't need but will absolutely buy anyway? Yeah, I thought so. Use promo code GUNTALK at checkout and get 5% off your order. That's right, 5%. Not 2, not 3, 5. Like the fingers you'll use to type that code in while pretending this wasn't my idea. So go to Optics Planet, check it out, enter code GUNTALK, and get your 5% off. Ever wish your rifle could see in the dark like a caffeinated bat with night vision goggles? Yeah. Meet the Operator 640 clip-on from Armasight. It slaps onto your 1 to 6 day scope like it was born there. No re-zeroing and no BS. Just like I like it. It's just a thermal domination at 1,300 meters, which is roughly 14 football fields. That's give or take some bad math on my part. Powered by Armacore Voodoo Magic. Okay. It's actually a 640 by 480 thermal sensor and sexy 35 germanium lens. Have no clue what that is, but I'm sure it's fancy because it says germanium. All right. Cuts through fog, smoke, darkness, and probably most of your excuses. You want more? It snaps off faster than your last situationship and has 3-button controls, records video, streams USB-C, and yes, it comes with a lens cloth because clarity matters. So, get the Operator 640, be the predator, not the plot twist. Tired of your range time being just mag dumps and Instagram flexing? Enter Range Ready Training, where Director of Awesomeness and everything else, Chris Cerino, turns keyboard warriors into actual warriors. Or something like that. Pretty dang close, I would say. Yeah, the guy's been there, done that. Pistol, check. Rifle, check. Yeah, we got it all. Force on force, we do that every now and then too. Bring your bruises, instructor development. Welcome to the Thunderdome of Learning. It's more than training, it's range ready because real life doesn't come with a respawn button. All right, we're back with Chris Cerino, and we're going full on bacon blitz. We're talking about hog hunting and all that comes with it. And right now I want to get into a conversation about the guns that you use. We've talked about, thermals, and we talked about, a little bit about night vision. Not a whole lot because Chris and I are such fans of thermals that I think like we can all agree that it is the cheat code amongst cheat codes. Like it's the best.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like watching little hot white spots flickering through the saw palmetto of the South, and you're like, oh God, here it comes. Here it comes. You can just see them.
You see them.
Yeah, just moving through.
And so we have right in front of us a gun that you've taken a lot of hogs with.
I have.
This is one of your favorites. You love to talk about this gun. It's a POF. It's a POF, not a POS.
No, it's not a POS. It's a really good, accurate gun. This is the POF Rogue, which was one of the, if not the first small frame 308. I bought it specifically for this, but it would be a great patrol rifle also because, man, it's as big as an AR.
So on calibers, obviously you're shooting a 308. Do you go like a 300 blackout? What do you prefer?
So I've killed pigs with 300 blackout, 223, and 308. I've also killed them with 10 millimeter handgun. 10 millimeter is great. 308. I killed pigs with 338 Lapua also.
Does that turn them inside out, cook them and grill them?
Well, it leaves a long trail. But I'm here to tell you, no matter what caliber you use, I actually killed one with a 22 also, but it was just a little football guy. It was cute. Dropped him like a stone.
Really?
But anyhow, it's all about, comes down to shot placement because 300 blackout is great. 308 is great. All of them are the same. I've shot them all. If you don't hit them in the head, if you don't go for that head shot, they're gonna keep going. And honestly, I shot one, and I don't know if I clipped a branch or something, but it was only about 60 yards a couple years ago with a 77 grain 223. I'm thinking, okay, 77 grain match bullet. It's going to stay together. It's going to do everything. Man, that pig went down. It squealed. It flipped. It flopped. I watched it go across the trail. And here's where you're going with the bolt gun semi-auto thing.
Yeah.
I had not worked the bolt because I thought it's down. I'm just watching it. I'm watching it. And as soon as it got to the edge of the wood line, got up on its feet, and it walked off. I never saw it again because it was raining. I never could find a blood trail.
Really? Well, that's funny because...
Had a headache, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. He did. He probably recovered and making more little babies. But so one of my favorites is a 50 caliber. So a big old hunk of lead from a muzzleloader.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like it's...
Muzzleloader bullets are fantastic.
They are. But one time, and the reason why I would not... That's the reason why I don't put a muzzleloader in with a semi-auto or a bolt action.
Yeah.
Is so me and my buddy are sitting there hunting, and we're deer hunting, and it's early season. It's like 80 degrees or whatever in Oklahoma. The wind's blowing, and all of a sudden we look kind of over our shoulder, and here comes this lone hog. We both have muzzleloaders. We're ready to go, and he's just trotting along, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's gonna come in, and we're gonna get a shot at this. And it was you know what? It's this hog. This is the hog that was coming in. And so
that's a nice pig.
It's great. And he was all by himself. And that's how I know, like, okay, that's a big boar. But big boars typically roam by themselves. Like they just roam. And And he's coming up. He stops, and I go, "You ready?" And he goes, "Yep." And I said, so I press the trigger off, hit him. He shoots, and he was like, "Man, I know I missed." The hog turns around, runs, and I felt great about the shot. So he runs over this little rise, and I'm like, he'll be dead around. He'll be dead. I felt really good about the shot. And so we just start walking towards that way. So we start walking, and I kid you not, like something told me like, "Hey, you need to stop and reload." Like because we hadn't reloaded because it's muzzle loaders,
Right.
You don't have to think about that with the semi-auto.
You don't want to have to unload it.
Right. You don't have to. So I was like, "Hey, why don't you go ahead and reload? Like, and I'll just step back and film you." And thank goodness I told him that, because as soon as he loaded it, we walk up and we go over, and that hog is sitting there like facing us down,
Waiting for you.
waiting for us. And he had just said, "I'm not running. I'm injured. I'm mortally wounded," basically. And he goes, and like I crested that hill and we saw each other. My eyes were probably as big as, pancakes, like giant pancakes. And I looked over at my buddy. I said, "Are you going to shoot yet?" Like, come on. And that hog took 2 steps towards us, and he shot and put him down. It was intense. Like, probably one of the more intense things. I was wishing I had anything besides a muzzleloader at that point.
Yeah, they're hard to put down. Like I say, all the 10 millimeter shots I've made, dropped them like a stone, dropped them in their tracks. 338 Lapua, body shot, thing went 100 yards, easily 100 yards. I've shot them. Sometimes when you're just shooting them all, you don't always make those great shots.
Right.
You won't find half of them. You won't find half of them.
That's okay.
But
don't worry about that one.
I've also shot them, from 75 yards, 300 blackout subsonic with the Hornady Sub-X bullets.
Yep.
I hand load those.
Oh yeah.
But straight on face shot. I mean, literally just blew the teeth everywhere.
Everywhere.
And that thing would,
And I think shot placement is like one of the most important things you do, because I've shot him with a 204 Ruger too. And that was, I mean, we were out coyote hunting and a bunch of hogs run across, and I'm like, all right. So I just started dumping lead in, and I just happened to first one, put it right behind the ear, just right in the ear canal. That hog was stone cold dead.
That's awesome.
So you can shoot them all the way down to a 22, all the way up to a 338, 50 caliber, like whatever it is.
Yeah, that Press 22 shot was funny because it was about 80 yards, and I was like, I think I'm going to hold about 4 inches high. Blap, and it went off while I was thinking, and that thing just rolled over. It was just a little football. It was the cutest little thing.
But if you had to choose, if you only had one caliber to choose, like that to take out with you on a night hunt,
Stop.
Are you taking
308?
308?
Yeah, 308 6.5. You know why I'm taking the 308? Because it's cheaper. I don't need the 6.5. I mean, it's the Ruger SFAR has been.
Oh gosh, that
thing has killed more pigs
dimes.
since I got it. Everybody that comes to the house says, "Hey man, can I take this gun?" I'm like, "Yeah, everybody can take it." So I finally got another one. So now I have 2. So at least I can hunt with one.
Yeah,
because everybody wants the SFAR. It's small, it's light. You put a 3-pound thermal on it. You want a small, and plus if we're in a blind, in a box or something, you don't have that extra length. You get a nice short can on it like this, or the Banish, backcountries, and it does everything you need.
Yeah. Well, I think
And semi-auto, because we have
semi-auto. Like
here, if I'm just going to a paid
follow-up
hunt,
shots.
if I'm going to a paid hunt where I can only shoot like 2 pigs, or I got to pay by the pig. Probably want to take a bolt gun because it's just so, it's like bow hunting versus, rifle hunting.
Yeah.
It's that thing is there's a time and a place for each.
Oh yeah. That's why I just take my longbow.
That's when you're really
2250. No, my 2250. That's what I have. One gun in my safe that I call my longbow, and that's the 22-250.
Yeah,
That's what I call it.
No doubt.
So anyway, all right. The listener segment last week was, what's the craziest almost got it hunting story? Do you have one?
I really don't. I mean, this last year, I almost got my third alligator, and that would be my almost got it. I mean, it was like right there at the side of the boat, and the hook pulled. So that would be an almost got it.
Really?
I mean,
wait. So it was you had it hooked.
Oh,
it
yeah,
had it hooked.
Yeah, he was up at the side of the boat when he pulled. Yeah.
What happened? Did the rope break or?
Well, I told Jake we should be using treble hooks on all of them, but he said you don't need to. And the rest of them we caught on single hooks. It would have been nice to have a treble hook on that one.
On that one. That's funny. Gators is.
I don't have a best. Almost got it.
You don't? That's almost got it. That counts.
I mean, that's still not a best. It's not great. I mean, I stalked a big bull elk one time in Idaho, and it was only went there twice. And the one time we did, you know how it's like it's right over there, but in between this mountain and that mountain,
over there,
the other mountains. And we got through all the way over there.
Did you just quit?
I looked at the lichens up in the trees, and they were starting to blow.
Yeah.
The wind was moving, and I heard them blow and go. And I mean, we got that close.
Really? And you're just, I'm done. It's over.
That was it. I shot a cow. Shot a cow. Had a dual tag. So,
well, it's a good thing you had that.
He ate good.
Oh yeah,
she did.
She did. Man, I've been making my way through all the elk meat from this year.
I'm gonna have to shoot some more pigs because honestly, I'm going through that sausage like
this. I'm telling you,
water through a screen.
This upcoming season could be a big year for me. Like if it pans out, I might be on the elk killing bus. Like I'll be driving the bus.
Do the folks out there know that we have Wild Game Friday?
No, huh?
Yeah, so
I haven't
have
talked about Wild Game Friday.
We have Wild Game Friday here at Gun Talk Studios in Range Ready.
Yeah,
and every Friday, just about, unless we're working or filming or doing something big, KJ cooks, and he's even cooked when we had Range Ready classes.
Yes, yeah,
and because if there's anybody that has a surplus of meat, it's KJ.
Yeah. But I do have a good-sized family.
We have ducks, we have alligator, we eat pig, we eat elk, deer, whatever those things are you shoot in Texas, all that stuff.
What's your favorite pig recipe? Sausage?
I honestly, I like all the sausages. KJ also has an amazing place to go for sausage.
Yes.
And he gets one that is a blueberry maple. That is absolutely
the best.
To die for delicious.
That's like the best. Like it tastes like you're eating blueberry pancakes with maple syrup. That's what it tastes like.
And bacon cheddar, and we get pineapple brown sugar.
Man, now I'm getting hungry.
But anyways, we have Wild Game Fridays, and KJ's the cook, and he's excellent, and he always makes something on the side.
All right, so here's the deal: we have another listener segment. And this is kind of a heated topic with me. Like I'm kind of passionate about it because I used to do it. If you have something that you want to chime in with, reach out to me at kj@guntalk.com. I promise I'll read it. And it'll be considered for the show. But have you ever named a deer or hog before shooting it? And what are names?
Well, in Texas, we always had a hog down there that was a giant silverback. And I just recently talked to Colby because he has a pen where he puts the big boys and he grows them up.
And then releases them?
And we named it Hogzilla. No, Kong. His name is Kong.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them he releases, but he takes, for paying customers, you can go in there and guarantee a hunt. You know what I'm saying? It's like 500 acres penned in, so it's a small area. So we got one in there called Kong, and I asked him about him when I was talking to him a couple months ago, and I said, hey, so he calls it Alcatraz. Alcatraz. He not only does he have a huge fence around
it, but moat?
He dug the fence in like 3 feet underground and then piled it up with caliche stone so they can't even dig down to the fence. So Kong still lives. So there's one, and Kong is a breeder, so he'll never get shot. So it's not one that you're going to shoot, but he's got a name.
You can't request it?
No. And remember when we did a synced fire with 338s at 500 yards. And he's like, whatever you do, don't shoot Kong. You know which one Kong is, right?
Nope.
You know how he talks. So we had that, and then there was always down southern Ohio. We used to see this one deer that we would see all the time. We were all waiting for gun season to get it, and it had 2 giant palmated antlers.
Yeah.
And we called him Bullwinkle. So yeah.
Okay, so you named deer.
Yep.
See, I used to name deer. I'd never named a hog. If I was gonna name a hog, his name would probably like Chris P. Bacon or Chris P. Bacon. Like, that's probably the name I would have to give him, or just Bacon. Like
I call him all crispy bacon.
Yeah, it'd have to be something similar to that because I couldn't imagine it. But I've had deer named Petey, Stickers. I mean, you try to name your but the problem is that you never see them again for the most part.
We never saw Bullwinkle when gun season came around.
Right, you never saw him again. Like I never saw Petey again after that first opening muzzleloader or rifle season, whatever it was. But naming animals just never really appealed to me. I did it because you'd see all these hunting shows oh well, we got the Big 10 on camera 18 times and he's in this area and we're hunting the Big 10, and that always seemed to be a thing on these hunting shows. And
you got a big enough fence, they'll stick around.
That's
right?
true if it's tall enough.
Yeah, tall.
I mean,
it's gotta be tall.
I mean, but it just never appealed to me to name all these deer and stuff. I just say, well, I mean, he tastes great. I don't know what his name is. I don't know what his deer friends called him. But
when I lived in Ohio, I mean, all the chipmunks I killed were either Chip or Dale.
That's all.
I mean, they were all Chip and Dale. I mean,
so you didn't only name your hogs or your deer, you also named all the squirrels.
Man, we shot all the chipmunks because they ruined my rock walls around my house.
That's horrible.
So if you're out there looking at this rig that's in front of us too, just know that this is the Armacite thermal clip-on. That's the thermal. We got that in to do some filming with, and I put it on, and it was remarkably easy to collimate 0, and it's been off and on and still shoots straight.
Yeah,
because I know people are going to say, "Well,
what's that? What is it on?" It's a Vortex on the front end of it, but a clip-on is nice because you don't have to take your existing optic off and replace it with just a thermal.
Keeps this gun handy, and I can go hunt during the day.
Yeah.
And I can stay for the night hunt, and maybe plug some coyotes, which I also like to plug.
Oh,
that's a whole nother story.
I love that. That's a whole nother segment that we can get to, because calling coyotes and chasing coyotes in the summer is way different than chasing them in the wintertime when they're doing their thing. But all right, our final segment is final word. I'm going to leave it in the field. Chris, what's going on? What's on your mind? Or what do you want to leave the people with?
What came to mind when you mentioned that was, to me, I didn't shoot that possum I trapped the other day, and I know you were upset with me because I have chickens. He's making a face. Anyways, I'm trying to catch a cat that's terrorizing my house, and I got a possum. I let it go because he's cute. He was cute, and he had his little teeth hanging out, and he didn't move for 3 hours.
He just sat there with the gate open, he opened the gate, and Chris had him on the Ring camera to make sure he knew when he was leaving, which I thought was funny because he'd pull it up and say, "Hey, he's still there. Look at him," and he's just sitting there looking outside the door, not moving.
So where I was going with that is this. Just because this is a hunt podcast and we're hunters, and a lot of you guys out there listening are hunters, there's a lot of people out there that think that just because we're hunters, we're killers, when there's so much more to hunting than the killing itself. Like I told you the other day, I have no desire to shoot a bear. I really don't. I know that they're violent and they're crazy. I mean, I was a park ranger in Montana. I've seen what bears can do. I know what they're about. I have no desire to kill a bear. I had no desire to kill that possum. I have every desire to kill that cat that's terrorizing my house. I have no desire to kill my own cats. But just because we're hunters doesn't mean we're killers. There's so much more to hunting, and anytime you get to impart that on people and teach them more and show them what's in your heart, and tell them some of the main reasons why you do it and the enjoyment that you gain from it. And I think we can bring more people into the fold.
Man, couldn't have said it better myself. All right, that's it for this Gun Talk Hunt. As always, keep those muzzles pointed in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.